And this scene also was, I don't know about you, but it was kind of brutal to read for me.
I need to start making up some wild
You
theories. 'Cause
do.
most of them are you. Okay. Am I being mean to you this episode? I need to be nicer.
I'm sorry, lady. You are the queen. You absolutely could have said no.
Or is he just being a nice little protector for everybody and he's just laying low?
Welcome back to BookTeaTalk, the book podcast where two sisters read a book together and talk about it each week over a cup of tea. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Maddie. Today we're diving into Brimstone, chapters 17 through 20. Last week felt like everything cracked open. And this week, we start to see what's underneath.
We will be discussing spoilers for chapters 17 through 20, so if you haven't read that far yet, consider this your warning. And as always, please keep spoilers past what we covered today out of the comments.
But before we get into demon traps, unstable magic, and questionable political decisions, Kayla, what tea are you drinking today?
So I have a very basic, ugly mug. It's just nothing's on it. It's boring. But I am drinking Stash Wild Raspberry and Hibiscus. I was going to forget, so I brought it with me.
Okay, I have a fun tea.
And it tastes good. Thank you for asking.
Oh.
What are you drinking today?
Oh, I did. You didn't even
You were
ask
just excited
me
to jump into yours.
Sounds good, Kayla. Now on to me. Today I have a spoon. Okay. Why a spoon, you ask? Because I need to stir my tea. You know why I need to stir my tea? Because I put passion fruit jam in my tea. It's got little passion fruit pieces in it. Oh, so good. And I used green tea. That's it.
You
So
put
it's like
a jam into your tea. I've never heard of that before.
it's not like a jam. It's like
Is
a
it jelly?
good jam. No, it's a jam, I guess. It's passion fruit jam. It's like passion fruit green tea is what I'm drinking. It's like a boba tea type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Period.
They sell it at the H Mart. Have you heard of that?
Is it like a pack of tea and jam that come together?
This green tea was from Kroger, and then this jelly was from H Mart.
Oh, I see.
No, it's a huge jar. I think it's like mango passion fruit jelly. But it's not like the jelly you spread. It's like jelly you put in drinks.
I see.
Jam you put in drinks. Like it's thick.
I've never been to H Mart. But we just got a Trader Joe's and a Sprouts.
I thought I just got an H Mart too in Orlando.
You act like I go to Orlando.
I got a notification about it.
Why?
I don't know why. Not like a notification. Hold on.
It's not like you live in Orlando.
I got a TikTok video about it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's because I visit all the time. Duh.
Oh, yeah. Once a year is all the time.
Well, sure. Flights are expensive.
I guess compared to some people, I guess that is all the time.
Very true.
If you guys are enjoying following along with us, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next upload. All right. Tea is ready. Notes are open. Let's talk.
Yes. But before we jump into chapter 17, we need to sit with where we left off. Because nothing about the end of chapter 16 was small.
Not even a little bit. Okay, in Zilvarin, we had a demon using an ancient Alchemiran trap, like a feeding web.
Yeah,
I said it right that time. And in Almontrade, Saeris quite literally put a hole through the Black Palace library. That is kind of a tongue twister.
Her magic isn't healing the way it used to. And the court is watching her. Foley is alive, and the edict isn't as airtight as anyone assumed.
So both of our storylines are currently unstable, like very unstable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think chapters 17 through 20 are where we start to find out whether those cracks get patched or completely broken.
So as we get into this episode, keep a few things in mind for us. More like questions in the back of your head, okay? One, is Saeris losing control of her magic or stepping into something much bigger? Two, is Fisher just hunting a demon or is he walking into something much older than that? Just ponder on that, all right?
And maybe the bigger question, does anyone actually understand the rules of this world right now? It's a lot.
I definitely don't think I do.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I never know where this book is going. Let's just say that.
I don't think the characters know where this book is going.
Definitely not.
All right, chapter 17, let's get into it.
We open the section Foley and Fisher's point of view, and it escalates immediately. The scorpions are not random. It's a swarm of the scorpions. Like, he said he heard click, 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 and it was just like, I pictured a huge
Oh, yeah.
swarm. Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
They are Joshin. Who is Joshin, you ask? Joshin is a very old demon. Very old demon guy. Within seconds after the big scorpion swarm, both Fisher and Carrion are stung many, many times. Carrion can't move. Fisher can't help. The venom isn't just physical, it's psychological. It's getting to them, to their head, to their body. They're breaking down, like bad.
Yes. And this scene also was, I don't know about you, but it was kind of brutal to read for me. Like you could feel the pain on
Yeah.
Carrion, and then Fisher, obviously he's getting attacked as well, but he feels helpless to be able to help Carrion. And he's also at that point still, I don't know, deciding if he even wants to help, which we both know he's going to.
So funny.
He can't let Saeris down like that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, she cares about Carrion.
Yeah.
But
I felt very uncomfortable the whole time.
Yes, exactly. It almost felt like it was happening to you.
Yes.
But what I do love here is the memory we do get of Fisher's mother. She used to leave books out at their home in college about old demons, and she used to pretend to be them and attack him as the different demons. And at one point, she did pretend to be Joshin and asked him how he would stop her.
Yeah, and let's just preface this by saying this is the only good memory we get of his mother.
So far, anyways.
It goes downhill. It goes downhill from there. But instantly after reading this section, it made me question, was that a game that he was playing with his mom? Or was she prepping him for this exact moment in case he ended up in this situation?
Because if you'll remember, she does see the future. So it does beg the question, did she see this happening in his future? And was this to prepare him for this battle? Which I personally think so.
Okay, so I didn't connect that. I was just thinking, like, she's just preparing him just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes sense.
But why specifically act out this demon? I mean, maybe she did other ones too.
I think she did other ones, but that's the one he's like recalling in the moment.
Yeah.
But I thought of it as like training that he was going through with his mom without him knowing it was training. She was just having fun with him. Kind of like when you're a kid and you're like learning about the ABCs. It's fun, but it's educational. So, yeah.
No, I agree.
That's my thought.
Could be either or, I guess.
Yeah. But Fisher then realizes something very critical after remembering this memory. The scorpions hate light. There are thousands, but they are all one as well. And the worst thing is, they're in a cave. There is no light.
They're in a bell tower, but it's a closed off bell tower. There are no windows in the room.
I imagined it like a cave, but yeah. But he has two options. He can either turn back and leave Carrion to die, or he can step into the demon trap, and he's not going to leave Carrion to die. We know this. He chooses to step in the trap.
He does. And that choice does matter because it's not strategic. What would be strategic would be if Fisher walked away to save himself, make sure he returned home safely and in one piece. This choice was very personal. And because of this, I have a question for you. Do you think if Fisher had walked away from Carrion and let him die, do you think you would have understood his choice to do that?
Do you think Carrion would have understood his choice? Is that what you're asking?
No, you personally. Like,
would I have understood his choice?
Would you understand his choice to walk away? Or you're like, oh no, he definitely did the right thing by saving Carrion?
I mean, shoot, I would have walked away.
Even with this small attachment, you would have walked away. Like, if that was me, you would have walked away? It's a little bit different because I'm your sister, but...
It's a lot different.
Okay, but now I want to know, would you walk away or would you save me?
Would I save you? Oh, Kayla, how
or
would
you commit to dying with me? Is the real question.
Okay, if we were both in that situation, I was Fisher, I would have saved you. If it's me and you, like no magical powers, and I see this huge demon, I'm running. Okay.
That's crazy. I think I would have tried to save you.
Really? Well, obviously I would have tried, but if you're stuck,
you just
girl,
said you would run away.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're stuck. I mean, I'm sorry, but I kind of choose me.
I'm dead. Literally.
You're making me cry.
I see that.
Okay, give me a second.
Then our scorpions begin to unite. That is right. They're becoming one massive entity. So all these little scorpions are coming together, crawling up, making this giant big monster.
Thanks for the visual.
You're welcome. The demon speaks Old Fae, which we haven't really learned anything about Old Fae, so this was interesting. But Fisher does understand the Old Fae, which raises two questions for me. One, why does the demon know Old Fae? Fisher says he shouldn't understand it, or he shouldn't know it, but he does, which we kind of find out that he's been hearing lots of, like, languages, because he can also speak the common Fae because of what he hears from Sylvarin, which is what they speak. But my second question is, why does Fisher understand Old Fae? Because he makes it a point to say that it's like a forgotten language and all that, like old language that no one uses, yet he knows it.
I was just thinking it's because he's old.
I mean, maybe.
I didn't know that this was like a thing.
Who, the demon?
I mean, no, like a question.
Fisher?
Like, why does he know Old Fae? I just thought he knew it because he was old. Because Fisher is
the
old.
The demon or Fisher?
They're both old. I thought the demon was a little older, but they're both old.
He is older. But they're both old, but Fisher does make a point to say that, I don't know, he makes it seem like a language that not many people know and understand. So why does he? And why does the demon? I don't know. These are just questions in my head.
Have you seen those people on TikTok that know 100 million? Trilingual, quadringual, I don't know. But have you seen those people on TikTok? No, bilingual.
You said langual.
I said bilingual, I think.
You're saying it again. Bilingual.
Bilingual.
That Texan is coming out ya.
Bilingual. There we go. Anyways, have you seen those people on TikTok that know like 100 different languages?
Sure, but they probably learned them
quickly because they're fast learners. Maybe Kingfisher's a fast learner and you're looking too much into it. You got a theory on this too?
Nope.
You got a theory?
Nope.
No theory?
No theory.
Alrighty.
Also, I do want to point out, I went back and pulled all of our theories from the videos we've had so far.
Well, a lot?
From me mainly, we're up to 24.
Okay.
Most of those were me. I would say 90% of those were me.
You know what? I need to start making up some wild theories.
You do.
Most of them are you. Okay. I think he knows Old Fae because he's old. Okay? That's my theory. There we go.
That's not a theory.
That's a theory. That is a theory.
No, it's not.
I think the demon knows Old Fae because he's older.
He's old. That's not a theory. That's just information.
In my opinion. It's a theory. Everything's a theory.
Okay, well, that's not making the video.
Well, yes, it is. Anyways.
No, it's not. I'm making it.
Anyways, I'll force you to put it in there. But we then start getting the hallucinations. And this was like the most eerie part for me because I thought it was real at first when I was reading it.
Oh, I did too.
Like, oh my God. His mom just like appears. This is insane. But his mom is standing beside him saying very cruel things to him. And I was like, dang, like she's rude.
Mm-hmm.
The venom from the scorpions is psychological warfare with Kingfisher. And he notices his blood glowing against the wall and draws a rune for break. Break. And this is huge. This is really big. The old Alchemiran magic.
Huh?
Hold on, I got it.
The fact
I
that
got
you
it.
were
No,
just
you
gonna
don't tell me.
keep going is funny.
I got it. And this is huge. The old Alchemaren magic in the walls reacts to him. Alchemiran.
The
Thank
whole
you.
scene though, it takes a lot longer to get to this point. Like
It does.
he's being tortured by his mom. Basically all the guilt I think that all the feelings he internalized and that he thought his mom felt about him is what he was like being relived, but through her. Like he could see her. And she was very real to him, even though she wasn't real.
Yeah.
And yeah. But
which in my opinion is worse than the pain, because his mom is gone and he's hearing her say all this terrible stuff about him.
yeah,
Like, I feel like that's worse to hear than to actually feel the physical pain itself.
probably.
Yeah.
He busts the wall. He's been struggling to get it open, and he draws the rune for break, and it breaks the ward that is keeping the demon trapped in. But during that scene, he made comments about it reacting in weird ways. So it's like, why would it react to him like that? Would it have reacted the same to anybody's blood, or was it reacting to his blood specifically, like his bloodline or his relationship with Saeris? Thoughts? Or do you think it was just because you drew the rune and that's it?
You see, we read books differently. You know what I mean?
Why?
Like, you were really thinking, and I just wasn't. I just was like, oh, it broke, yay.
And I'm over here like ABYZX 5000.
Yeah, literally every single detail that's in the book, like every little spelling, like everything.
I grab
you point
it.
it out, and I'm like,
do.
I just
Did
read
that
over
happen?
that. Yeah, I don't remember that being a
You're
thing.
lying?
That's funny. But the answer to that is
You don't know.
I think it broke because Fish is a strong boy. That's why I think it broke. That is my theory. Add an M. Number 26.
Okay, but he didn't punch it to break it.
I know,
strong.
but
he's a strong rune writer.
He's magically strong. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Period.
how often do you see him drawing runes? He probably forgot his own strength.
Okay.
Theory number 27. We then get to the bargain. Fisher tells Carrion the venom will stay in their systems forever, which is really bad because they'll go mad and never wake up. I think he explained it like you're gonna need to sleep, and then once you sleep, you're in another realm or something where you are just being tortured all the time. Why are you making that face?
Because it wasn't like they were in another realm. They were just sleeping in
Like
their
in their dream being tortured.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Until the point that they were going mad.
Right.
And themselves.
Right. Exactly.
Can I say that on YouTube? I don't even know.
Offed themselves.
Offed themselves. Unalived themselves.
Unalive themselves. There you go. But yes, so very bad thing. They do not need that venom in them for very long. So Fisher decides to propose a deal with Mr. Joshin, the demon. He says 2 drops of venom for an antidote and a secret. And they will allow Joshin to stay alive, not trapped in the demon trap. So the thing about Faye is that there's always something with bargains. Fisher finds the loophole. He traps 1 scorpion in a box so Joshin can't truly die, which is very smart and calculated. But I think what the funniest part was when it had to do with them bargaining. He really tricked him. Do you remember doing that part?
Kinda. He said something about like the whole secret part. He was like,
yes, because he was
you're like a god, so the secret has to be equivalent to the value of your life because you're a god, or it has to be something really important.
Yeah, exactly, because he said, 2 drops of my antidote because you're only protecting 1 life, which is me, and then I'm gonna save both of your lives, so that's 2 lives for 1, that's not fair. And then, Fisher tricks him because he's like, "Well, no, but you're a god. Your life
Mhm.
is way higher than ours," and, like, he was, like, hyping him up to get him to be
Yes,
like,
he was
"Okay, fine,
yeah.
the venom or the antidote and the secret." So I thought that was hilarious and so smart.
Yeah, because he was
Yeah.
appealing to his, ego, I guess, more or
Yes,
less.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it was pretty
Yeah, which
funny.
is so smart. So, so smart.
And the thing with the venom and the antidote, why that's a big deal is because I guess they can't make an antidote with his venom unless he explicitly gives them permission to do it. Like, he has to give the venom freely. So that's
Mhm.
why they're making this arrangement in the first place, is because if they just were to take part of him and, like, extract venom, it wouldn't be able to create a
Wouldn't
venom
work.
I keep
Antidote.
wanting to say anti-poison, but antidote, yes.
I mean, it works.
I guess. But what I do wanna talk about real quick,
Okay.
let's talk about that secret, okay?
The secret? Like when Joshin
Yes.
says, "To kill a queen, you will need to visit the darkest of all places." Yeah, that was, I don't think that was just a threat. It was showing direction.
It was an order, yeah.
It was a theory.
It was a very interesting secret. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I was
What
lost.
what unsettled me the most about it, though, is that does that mean someone's trying to kill Saeris?
Can I
Or
can I tell you my theory? Because I wasn't even thinking about Saris.
well, who are you are you thinking about Madra? Because that was my other thing, was Madra or
Yeah, I thought it was
Saeris
Mandra. Because I'm sure at the end of the book they're gonna try to kill her because she's the one making the creepy demon creatures.
that we think.
So that we think, right?
We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure,
'Cause
but like, who else could it be?
Belicon and Madra are both still alive. They could be together for all we know.
Yeah, it could be both of them. But in my opinion, I think he's talking about her because why would he want to kill Saris?
Yeah. No, I don't think he would wanna kill Saeris. I think that it was just, like, a really weird prophecy, and we know prophecies aren't always interpreted in the way that they're supposed to be, or they'll be given to someone, but it's not necessarily for you to hear, it's for you to pass along type thing. So I was like, "What queen are we talking about?" You know?
Right. Okay.
Because it doesn't say which queen. It just says queen.
Right.
And Saris isn't a queen.
And here's the part of all this that's very interesting. So Joshin calls him the Shadow Weaver, which is interesting. It sounds like a title, not really like an insult, which
Yeah,
you'd
like, he
think he'd
wasn't
be
insulting
insulting
him.
him. Right. You'd think he
Exactly.
would be because he's just manipulated him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was almost like a yeah, like you said, like a title of some sort, like putting you on a pedestal type thing,
Right. So
which is
maybe he's
interesting.
like being talked about by the gods.
I was
I
gonna say,
don't know.
who would give him that title though, you know?
But how would Joshin hear that title?
True, because if
Mm.
the only person coming to mind now is, like, Zareth would give it to him,
But why
but
would
if
Zareth be talking to the
Zareth
demon?
exactly, that's
Yeah.
the thing, because 'cause they're
So
on, like,
maybe
2 separate entrant specters?
maybe hold on.
Spectrums?
I have a theory.
Do you
I
have a
have a
theory?
theory. Ah, I love this. Okay. I have a theory.
Okay.
Kingfisher was stuck in the cave for years.
The maze?
The maze with Monster.
Mhm. With
What if
Monster.
all the little monsters communicate?
They just sit down and have dinner together every weeknight?
Look, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what if they like telepathically can just like because they're
Mm.
gods? I don't
So they share
know.
neurons.
Possibly. It's possible.
Do you even know what a neuron is?
It's a brain thing.
I love
Do
you.
you know what a neuron is?
Yeah, it communicates from your brain to, like,
You just made that up.
other parts of your body.
Yeah, I just said that. Thank
I know.
you.
Thank you.
But anyways, Fisher then burns him. Okay. After all this, after he told him the secret, after he called him a shadow weaver, he burns him. All except one little scorpion that he keeps in the box. Which means that Joshin is still alive, but he is just his little baby self. And he was not very happy about that.
He was not.
He was not. Do you think that Fisher made the right move by trying to trick the demon? Do you think it was smart keeping him alive? Or do you think he's gonna come back and haunt him later?
I think I would like to believe that he acts as either an ally or a resource, as in him hang on, himself being
An
a
ally?
resource. Okay. Not that he's like working with them, okay?
Okay, that's what an ally is, girl. You need me to look up the
I don't know what
definition of ally?
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I would like to assume positive things about the situation, but I do feel like it could also very easily create a situation where the demon comes back and like does something bad or escapes the little wooden box. And I mean, it will take him forever to recreate all the scorpions. It said that already, but maybe he escapes. I don't know. What do you
I
think?
don't know either. I sort of like what you said. I don't think he'll be an ally, that's for sure. But
I think I
the
meant
secret-
resource more than anything.
how would he be a resource, though? I mean, he
Like
can't
they could
take
use more
antidote
of his
from him.
body.
For what?
I don't know, potions. I don't know.
Okay,
Or
first
like
of all,
forcing knowledge out of him.
the
Making another
bodies
bargain
in-
to let him outside of the wooden box.
okay,
I don't
now
know.
we're talking. Now we're talking. Use his body. He just burned it alive. What are you talking about?
Not the little bitty baby scorpion.
Yeah, but that's the only body he has left. God.
Could still use it.
Anyways, that's an interesting theory, but you're wrong.
I wouldn't say that that's a theory. It's just
Just something that you're thinking
speculative.
about. That's still a theory, but all right. Am I being mean to you this episode? I need to be nicer.
A little bit.
Being a little mean. Sorry, I'm really passionate about this part of the book because we were supposed to talk about it last week.
Sorry.
Anyways, we then cut back to Alchemeron.
Oh my god.
Did I say it right?
No.
Bro, you did this crap on purpose.
What?
Made me say that part on purpose.
You're saying Armontreath. Where is the first R?
Armontreath?
That's not what you said.
Not, girl, you need to go to the ear doctor, get your ears clean, because we're all back to tape. We're back to
I
tape.
will.
That's exactly what I just said.
When I make my TikTok, I will. It's going to say
Please do.
Armontreath.
It won't. Anyways, we cut back to Armontreath. Got an issue? Thank you.
Nope.
But the tone is completely different and just as tense. So Lorith unbinds Foley.
I gotta get ready for this part.
Do you call him Foley or Fooley?
I say Foley, but I could see how it
Foley
would be Foley.
I think in the audiobook it says Foley, but it looks like Fooley.
Are you listening to the audiobook?
Partially.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Is that interesting? Is that a problem?
No.
Okay. Anyways. Lorith unbinds Foley, and Saeris doesn't stop him. This was the little trap Miss Girl put him in after he tried to... Oh, do we know this? We don't know this.
She binded him to a chair.
I don't
to
think we ever
question
talked
him.
about this.
We did.
Did we?
He attacked her. Remember I was talking about the
Sure.
gold things?
Oh. Okay, we did talk about this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, awesome.
And
But
you
what
thought
was
he
I-
was a
what was I-
werewolf, so...
Yes, I thought he was a werewolf. That wasn't very smart. Anyways, so Saeris doesn't stop Lorith unbinding Foley. I mean, obviously she trusts him. And she actually says, "Who was I to say otherwise?"
I'm sorry, lady, you're the queen. You absolutely could have said, no, please do not, or don't. You don't have to say please, just say don't
He
unbind
tried to
him.
kill me. Like,
and what do you mean, Maddie? You just said, and she trusts Lorith. Girl.
I mean, your
I
plan
don't
kinda makes
care
sense.
who you trust, okay? If you were the queen and someone just attacked you and you haven't even had a full
Off with your
conversation with the
head.
person, they haven't even had a full conversation, and Lorith is unbinding her. She is visibly, what's the word?
Distressed.
Not
Distraught.
distressed, but like confused on
Skeptical.
skeptical. I don't know. But she did, the way that she was saying, and I didn't stop him, but who was I to say otherwise? The freaking queen! Lorith isn't even a part of the court. Like,
Saeris is
what?
kind of annoying at certain points. I really
Like, you,
I do
like,
have to say
huh?
that.
Anyways, I didn't like that
Yeah.
part. I
I
was
do
like,
agree
you
with
could
you.
have literally said, no, don't unbind him.
Yeah, he tried to kill me. Yeah, I get it.
Period.
Okay. I do agree with you. Yeah, I was like, oh, she trusts Lorith. How nice. But no. Okay. After he unbinds him, Alget then gives Saeris the book, Elemental Runes and Their Purposes, a comprehensive guide to alchemy. And Alget immediately tries to restrict her access to only the library. She can only read the book in the library.
And also, she could only enter the library for 2 hours a day, 1 hour before dawn,
Yeah.
and like 1 hour in the evening. All the hours that Alget was not in the library, she was allowed to enter, and she couldn't remove anything without written consent, which she
I
does
love
ignore.
Alget. I like Alget a lot.
I didn't. I started liking her, and then that made me not like her, because what do you mean?
She's just an old
She's an old-
hag.
Yeah, literally.
No, I love the character. I think it really fits like an old lady
Old cat lady.
who doesn't want anybody infiltrating on her space. I like it. I like her. But I thought it was funny because she literally ignored her not even 20 minutes later.
And the line she delivered when she did ignore it was strong. She said, I am queen of all Sanis Roth. Alget does not command me. If she has a problem with it, she can come and find me. She's speaking to Foley at this time because he's the one that's actually like, she told you can't take that out of the library. Like, what are you doing?
They're trying to walk out, and Alget was already gone.
And she says this. And I think it's the first time she's really claiming that she is the queen, like almost finding her power slowly, as we can see, because she still annoys me. She doesn't know how to stand up for herself.
Over a book. That's when she claims her title.
Yeah.
Over a book.
Over a book, not live,
so
but over a book.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I guess progress, but like,
yeah,
slowly.
So let's talk about Foley and what we have learned about him thus far in the book. So he didn't choose to become a vampire. He came to Amontreath because there were no living beings to harm. And, he was a vampire and you've got urges. You want to kill people. You want to murder people.
You want to suck their blood.
Kayla, let's go back and talk about this. If you were a vampire and I was a human,
would I suck your blood?
Would you kill me?
I feel like I wouldn't be able to control it,
Oh, so you would
animalistic urges. I'd convert you, though.
What if you're not a lord?
Well, what if I'm in Twilight and I just can?
We're not in Twilight, girl. What?
We're playing a hypothetical scenario.
Okay. Anyways. He came to Amontreath because there were no living beings to harm. Kayla, quit laughing. I could say it how I want to say it. If I'm reading it, I could say it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Unless the author is right here, right now, telling me I'm saying it wrong, then I'm going to say it how I want to say it.
Period. I won't correct you next time you say I'm Amarantha.
Okay, no, that one was an accident. You're being mean. See, I get bullied on this podcast, but
so the person who literally asked me 5 minutes ago if they were being too mean to me.
Besides the point. Anyways, back to Foley. He is not bound because I gotta talk over you somehow. Foley. He's not bound by the court. He did not bow down to the court. He did not accept the court as his own.
Okay. He did
He
not.
is apart from the court. He exists at Tal's discretion. Taladeus says he can be there, so he is. And why didn't Tal mention him to the others?
That's what I want to know.
I don't know, kind of odd. I do not remember. We need to bring this back up, but I don't remember if back then when they were talking about Foley, if Tal was nearby or even in the conversation. I don't think so.
That's
So
true.
maybe
I
he
was kind of
didn't
thinking the
know.
same thing, but I also feel like they're all in the same vicinity. I think he would have caught wind that they were looking for Foley, and it is like he's the one that took Saeris to the library.
You know what I think it's even
Where
funnier? Like
Foley is living.
these dumb people, okay? These idiots.
Which ones?
And I'm all of them. Not
the
Tal.
characters?
All of them. Yes, all the characters are idiots. You know why? Tal literally turned Foley. And they didn't have the gall to be like, "Oh, hey Tal, do you know where Foley is?"
Does it mention that Fisher had asked Taladeus before?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Like back when it was saying that they were
It's been
sending
2
letters and
weeks.
stuff? No, that's been like a month. We've been reading this book
True.
for a long time.
Well, anyways.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I want to talk about the gold-tipped teeth. So later on, we also
But
learned
did you like my
that
theory?
what?
Did you like my theory about what I just said? Did you like it?
About him not being in the vicinity?
Like, why didn't they ask Tal?
Yeah, I also wanted to know that.
Okay, good. Nice.
Okay. But I want to talk about these gold-tipped teeth because I thought they were gold-tipped teeth, but maybe they were just gold teeth in general because we later learned that they mark a shunned vampire. So the fangs are ripped out of any vampire who doesn't swear allegiance to the crown, and then they starve, they go mad, they wither away. And we learned that Malcolm kept Foley alive specifically to torture Fisher while he was in the maze, which is just cruelty that is very layered in the story. It's always like a reminder to someone about someone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I agree. With what you just said. But Foley also tells Saeris something really important. What is it, you may ask? She needs sleep. Okay. Lots of it. Alchemists require sleep to regulate their power, which we had no idea. And we do know that Saeris has been having issues with sleeping recently. She isn't tired, she's just restless. Very, very restless. Which does feel a little, like symbolic. What happens if she doesn't rest? Or do you think her powers spiral if she doesn't get her beauty sleep?
I think we are kind of seeing that. I mean, we estimated or suspected that her magic was attacking her because she didn't seal her alchemical runes.
Right.
But what if it's a combination of that and the fact that she doesn't get any sleep? Because that's like Foley says that they require a lot of rest to be able to regulate their powers. So that would back that up.
Or maybe that's why she doesn't have her power yet. Because she's not sleeping enough.
You mean why she can't control it?
Oh, we didn't even talk about did we talk about the hole in the wall? Yes, we did last episode. Okay, just making sure.
We also learned that Foley has been in the library essentially this whole time because it's the only place he doesn't cause friction with others. And this whole time has been a while. Like this was back in that he got turned back in the Ashen Gate. Okay, he's just been holed up in this library with Alga and
With
Gugu.
Alget. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Poor Alget.
But this does mean that he's had a lot of time to familiarize himself with the texts that are in the library, and he's agreed to try to help them in their mission of learning more about alchemists.
Yeah. And didn't he say he's read all of them?
He said he's read them all, but when he told her she needed to go get more sleep so that he could gather his information because obviously it's spread out between different books.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, he's basically read everything in the library, which is I think how he knew that alchemists required sleep. He doesn't actually remember anything from his grandfather.
Right. Exactly. And I also like that the library is protected, or it was protected when Malcolm was gone. So I'm sure that there's like a ton of alchemy books in there. Do you think
Yeah.
Algit knows any of it? Or do you think she's
I
just
mean,
a
she's the one that
grumpy old
fished out.
hag?
I bet she does. If Talladega or sorry, if Foley does, I think Alga does too.
Right? Like, why doesn't Algit
She's the
help?
keeper of records. She's the one that went and got the one book for Saeris. Like, she has to know what's in the
Exactly.
books.
Yeah. I don't know. She needs to be an ally, but she's not. She's an old cat lady. But I do have a question for you. Do you trust Mr. Foley?
I think I started seeing him differently in that conversation. Like, it seemed like he opened up a little bit with Saeris. Um,
Not the ship name. Oh,
Wait, who would be
just
the F?
Foley.
Fisher? Oh, I
Oh,
was more
Fisher.
Fisher.
Oh, I was
Anyways,
thinking
I didn't
Foley.
say that on purpose anyways. Yeah, he started to kind of be a little more open with her, like open to the idea of her not having killed Fisher. So
After he
maybe
learned
yeah.
about the mating bond with Fisher, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I trust him. I still don't know though, completely.
Do you think he's gonna be a good ally, or do you think he's gonna cause some problems in the future?
I don't know. There's some tension around him, so I guess we'll just have to
There
see.
is.
I don't know
I
how I
want to
feel
see his
completely.
reunification with Kingfisher. I wonder how that's gonna go.
He seems to care very fondly of Fisher, so I
Exactly.
think it'll go good.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Well, I mean, he did try to kill his mate, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Back to Fisher and Carrion. They're in Shaw's workshop, which is Borith Shaw. I think his name is Borith, right? The vault breaker.
Shaw.
Yes, Borith Shaw. So Carrion and Fisher are in his workshop brewing the antidote from the venom that is making them hallucinate and manifesting their guilt. Fisher sees his mother condemning him. This is when it starts turning. She's saying nothing positive. It's all negative stuff. And Morel, he's also seeing hallucinations of Morel, and she is blaming him for her death. It's quite brutal. I
Yeah,
felt
it's
bad for
really
him.
brutal. Yeah, it's really sad. But he recognizes that it's not real and it's the venom talking, and he knows that it's not actually his mom and not actually Morale. So that's one good thing, but still, it's basically like his bad parts of him talking bad on himself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Weird situation. But we do know that Carrion is also experiencing some visions because he asks Fisher, he says, "Are you seeing dead people too?" So we know he's having a really interesting time, but we have no idea because it's not in his point of view, like who he's thinking about, which is interesting.
I bet he's thinking
Not a
about
theory. Is this another theory? Good God.
really.
Good God. Okay. What is it?
We'll come back
Tell
to it
me.
in a few minutes, but you know how in like when they're in their the other scene, Carrion goes on to say that he like once loved someone and she died and like broke his heart. I wonder if he's seeing
Hmm.
her. It's not really a theory, but
That's
that
very
could make
possible.
sense. I mean, he could be seeing other
Possible.
people as well, but
Hmm. I don't know. Do we think they're gonna get Hayden? Because we haven't heard nothing about Hayden so far.
I think so.
They better, because they haven't even mentioned him not once.
I think they will. Oh, during the scene where they're experiencing their guilt and stuff, Fisher does say that he can tell that he's more immune to it, I guess, in a way, because of the torture he experienced in the maze. Like,
Right.
it's kind of conditioned him to be able to put, like, blinders on and ignore it a little bit. But,
It's easier
anyways,
for him.
yes. They drink the potion, which causes them to twitch and foam at the mouth. It's disgusting, it's ugly, it's brutal. But they do survive, and then we find out something huge. They did recover silver from the bell tower, which means that part of their mission is now complete, which I thought was interesting because they didn't actually mention seeing the silver in the bell tower. So the whole time, like, it was finished, and I was like, well, they just had a great time and they still have nothing to like say or
Yeah.
show for it, but turns out they do.
Yeah, I didn't think they grabbed any silver either, so I thought it was really interesting that they did complete the mission, but I guess Carrion wasn't lying about the silver, which is
I guess
surprising.
not.
But Carrion then gives Fisher a whiskey glass that Saeris had made in the third ward. And he realizes that it depicts Madra's palace burning. And she was rebellious even back then. And then they both talk about love, and Fisher asks him if he loves Saeris, which I literally was like, oh my god.
I know.
I was shocked.
I was shook. And then Carrion, he does
Mhm.
say yes, but also no.
Yeah.
He admits that it would be easy to fall in love with her, because she's quite literally amazing. But he wants, back to what we were
Hyping her
saying,
up,
he
for real.
wants, huh?
Hyping her up a little too much.
Who, me?
No, Carrion.
Yeah, no, for real. But this is the scene where I was just talking about. He says that he once loved a human and that the loss broke him, and he got told by another human, like, it'll pass, you'll be okay. But humans don't live long enough for immortals to survive the grief. And
Right.
he says he doesn't have space left in him to love like that again, even if he does care deeply for her.
And in that moment, it kind of relieved Fisher in a way, because I think he kind of tensed up a little bit when Carrion says yes, and then but he said no, which relieved him, because I think he always had some weird tension for Carrion just because of Carrion's past with Saeris, but he
Oh, for
can
sure.
now finally understand like the depth of their relationship and what Carrion was saying, and he also knows that he's not going to be threatening in their relationship in any way.
Saeris is finally able to fall asleep back in Almontreath, and immediately she and Fisher are in the same dream, and they're cognizant while in the dream, so they're speaking to each other, and they're in this place called the Huntsman's Cottage at the edge of Collish, and shocker, Onyx is there too, the fox. But he's not there for the first time. No, he's been here before. Apparently, he's been appearing in Fisher's dreams for weeks. And I will say, I've theorized in the past that the fox has some magical qualities, and I'm just adding this point to back up my theory.
What? You think because he was in the dream, he's magical?
Yes,
Kayla,
he's cognizantly in the dream and been appearing in Fisher's
fox.
dreams.
He's a fox.
Why is he in the dream?
Because Fisher's powerful, and Saeris is powerful.
So
Fox.
Fisher is bringing the fox into the dream?
No, I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I think he just has his
I
heart
think the
open.
fox is magical. Continue.
So do you think the fox created this dream world?
No.
Like, I'm confused what you're saying.
I mean, maybe.
Oh, good God.
Maybe it's the fox's way to bring Saeris and Fisher together while they're apart.
You sound psychotic. You really do. That's a terrible theory. It's horrible. We're gonna watch this back after you're like right, and I'm gonna be terrible.
You're gonna be terrified?
No, I'm gonna be like, no way. I'm gonna be so surprised if you're right about this. But you refuse to believe that he's just a fox. Surprisingly. I believe he's just a fox. But in this dream realm, dream world, it was a very interesting thing. They don't know if they're dreaming or if they're awake, like they can't really tell. But Saeris gives Fisher another tattoo in the dream world, which is really interesting because we don't know what's going on with their tattoos. We don't know if it's like symbolic. We don't know if it's magical tattoo. We don't know if it's permanent. What if she sealed their bond in that moment? I don't know.
Girl, their
guess we'll
bond has
find out.
been sealed.
The runes need to be sealed.
You think she sealed her alchemical runes by placing a tattoo on Fisher's ankle?
Look, it could be a theory.
Just because
You
you
don't
say
know
something
how-
that doesn't
don't know how the
exist in the book doesn't
runes-
make it a theory.
You do not know how the runes are sealed. You don't know if I'm
Well,
right or wrong.
something tells me it's not that.
Okay, no. I feel like the runes have something to do with their bond.
Okay.
So I
That
think
doesn't mean they have to do something
they're
with
both sealing
the
it.
tattoos that they keep receiving.
I feel like the runes are the same thing as the tattoos. Are they not? I think we've had this argument before.
We have.
Because nobody has tattoos unless you
Yes,
are
okay, yes.
mated.
Okay,
Therefore, she had to get her
listen.
alchemical runes because of the mating bond.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. She has alchemical runes in addition to her mating bond and her god bond. They exist together, but she has sealed
Because
her
of one
mating
another.
bond. No, she has sealed her mating bond, but she still needs to seal her alchemical runes.
I
They
agree, but
exist
the
together,
alchemical
but also
runes,
separate.
right, but they only exist because of the mating bond. You can agree on that.
Yes. That's not what you said.
Finally.
You said...
That's what I said!
No, can you wait a second? You said
Waiting.
that by her giving a tattoo to Fisher was her accepting her bond, which she already did.
Maybe on
She accepted her...
words.
Yeah, you did, but I don't... We're gonna drop that, because we're misinterpreting each other, I think.
I think so. I think we're both on the same page, but we don't
Talking
know
around it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
So Fisher explains Foley's teeth to Saeris in this moment, which we already kind of mentioned before.
His
and
vampire
Malcolm,
werewolf teeth.
They're not werewolves, but yes,
I know.
that his facts that his fangs were pulled because he didn't swear allegiance to the crown. So
Right.
Malcolm used Foley to torment Fisher, and then we get Tal's backstory and the reasoning behind Renfis hating him so much. I don't think you guys are ready for this.
Yeah, it's crazy. So basically, the tea is Everlane and Tal. No, literally. Everlane and Tal were betrothed, if you will. They were engaged to get married. And on the night of their wedding, Tal fled from the Winter Palace. Fled. Everlane. Poor girl. Okay. Crazy. And he went and knelt at Sanis Roth's throne. Why did he kneel at Sanis Roth's throne? You will not know the scale. You'll have no clue.
I do have a clue because I read the chapter.
It's because he loved Zowina. Who is Zowina, you may ask? The Lord of Midnight. This is insane. This was...
Yeah, I was pretty shocked to hear that too. So,
absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, he hated Malcolm, hated what he stood for, and still chose that path over being married to Everlane.
What
I don't know,
jerk.
that just seems crazy to me. Like, why choose vampires when your entire existence hates vampires? Because Zowina must have been a really good person in order for him to fall in love with her, but in this book she was nothing, or in the beginning of the chapter she was nothing but nice, nothing but mean to Saeris. It's very interesting. Makes me want to go back and like revisit the little bit of conversation she had with Saeris and like dissect it.
I still have a ton of questions. Like, do you think there's still like a thing?
I wonder if it's also tied to him being like the unfavorable Lord of Midnight.
What?
Like, because he's in the group of the Lord of Midnight. In the beginning of the book, it said that he was the least favorable among them. Like, none of the other Lords of Midnight really like him. I wonder if something happened.
Picked him as a favorite. I thought that was why he kind of singled him out.
Maybe. But it could be both, I guess.
It could be. But, like, do you think there's still, like, a thing?
I don't know.
Or do you think that, like...
Because she's still alive.
It's ended. Yeah, she's there.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to know more about it for sure.
But, like, I want to know more about them being engaged. Like, Everlane and Tal were engaged to be married.
Hang on. Do you think...
Oh, no.
I don't even want to say it. Do you think...
No.
Do you think Tal and Zowina are still, like, in love? And... it's all, again, just a plot to put them both in power. Like, a big old strategy. Because if he left Everlane, he's obviously not that tied to Fisher and their group of buddies.
You see, you finally came up with a good one. You finally did. You see, now that's a theory. That is a theory,
good theories.
That is a real theory, okay?
Did you like that one? Would you back
magical.
it?
I would back that one.
The fox is magical, thank you.
Okay, whatever. But I would back that theory. That's a good theory.
Okay.
You just shocked me. how well thought out that was. Typically, your theories are not very well thought out.
They don't normally have backup, like, information. Just on a hunch.
So, your hunch is that him and Zelvina are going to try to take the throne from Saeris, and then he's just playing, like, nice boy until
Maybe.
they do that.
It would back my idea of him being a little sketchy.
Can we think back to the first book for a second? Everlane is MIA right now. Well, we know where she is, but she's KO'd. What put her that way? I forgot. Was it? It was Malcolm.
Malcolm took Everlane.
Oh, and she was being turned into a vampire. And they were trying to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Who turned her into a vampire? Like,
I thought it was
Tao
Malcolm.
was there? Do you think Tao was there? And like,
I think he was definitely in the scene, but I don't think he's the one that turned her. Plus, if him and Zavinia are still in love, why would he want Everlane around forever in a vampire state? Some questions for sure.
But like, why were they even engaged in the first place? That's my question. Like, was this kind of like an arranged
probably just a
type thing?
probably arranged strategically. That, or maybe he thought he loved Everlane and then met Zavinia and fell more in love with her. I don't know.
That was a big like ball drop.
Maybe it is all just a power game for him. Maybe he doesn't love Zavinia. Maybe he saw an easy opening to the throne.
I think the book is setting us up to, like, think he's a nice guy that's misunderstood by some of the people in the little group. But I think what's going to happen is that some of the little people in the group that don't trust him is going to end up right.
About not trusting him? Maybe. Or maybe we are, again, just thinking too hard and we'll get proven wrong and we'll look back on this and laugh.
I guess we will see.
All right. So before we close this episode out, I think we need to circle back to some theories we've been slowly building over the last few episodes, because these chapters didn't answer much, but they did expose some patterns.
Yeah. Agreed. And this feels like one of those sections where nothing is like fully revealed, but certain things are like kind of picked at and implied.
Yes, and I think I'm going to try to maybe start including this at the end of towards the end of every episode, just so we can like look on some theories and we can either be like, ha, that was literally insane to think about, or like build on it. I don't know if that's a little redundant to say.
Speaking of things in like every episode, now that this is the second day filming, do you have my game for me?
No.
Today would have been the perfect opportunity.
I know. That's fine.
She hates me, guys.
I don't hate you. Okay.
I'm taking tags for a new podcast. Host.
Tags?
Co-host. Tags, like ats. Tags.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good luck with our 0 comments
down below. Yeah.
There's no comments on the videos. This is just me and you.
Look, I will comment.
Okay. You gonna comment your own application? Not you dropping his whole name.
He'll be fine. That's not his like full name. He's got more names than that, but like
okay.
I feel like he'd be funny talking about like dragons and gargoyles with me.
Maybe we could try to do
Oh, we so should.
We should have him on once. I don't think Beck would ever want to be on, but if he wanted to, we could do like try to fun like in between a book or in between 2 books, we can try to like make a fun episode with him in it or something.
Yeah, something like that would be funny.
But you'd have to tell him it has to be like no curse words.
I don't think it's a curse that much. I don't think.
The few times he's jumped in while we were still recording, he said cuss words immediately.
Really?
Yes. Remember when we were doing like you said the book boyfriends and he's like, duff. It was like the first thing out of his mouth.
Because he just heard book boyfriend and he was like,
I know.
Huh?
I know.
He doesn't know what that means.
Maddie, it doesn't take rocket scientists to see the words book boyfriend and know exactly what that means.
But like he doesn't know that it's like a thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what the fun episode we should do is think of really like bookish things that only bookish people know and ask him to describe what they mean or whatever.
Kind of like this Gen Z trend right now where they're asking the Gen
like
Alpha
bookish.
like different things. Like 1740 and then they have to finish. But it's like
1738, bro. 1738.
No, I thought it was 1748.
I'm pretty sure it's 38.
1748.
38.
It's giving 48. It's fine.
7. Anyways.
No, that's Gen Alpha. That is we're too old for that.
So first up on our theory roundtable is the Alchemiran theory. Back in earlier episodes, we questioned why Saeris' native language matters so much. And now we have a textbook written in it, a demon trap written in it. Fisher's magic reacted to it strangely. And we have old magic deteriorating, but not fully failing. It feels intentional.
Hold on.
I love the way that you just said that. Anyways, continue. Hold on. Please do that in the future. What?
You've got some holes in your theory, girl.
No, I don't.
Fisher's magic reacted to the old Fae sound, not the Alchemiran tongue. Language.
Huh?
Sorry. He was talking about the old Fae language. He wasn't talking about Alchemiran. Did he say Alchemiran? No, he didn't.
Hang on, I think you're misinterpreting. I'm pretty sure the demon was speaking Old Fae, but the entire ward and trap was in Alchemiran. The runes were Alchemiran, I'm pretty sure.
The runes were just runes.
Okay, whatever. We will need to investigate further.
Yeah, because somebody's trying to make up stuff again. Let's give you a bone, okay? Let's say that you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about it. What's the importance?
I don't know. That's the question. Why? Again, why does he speak Old Fae? Why does he partially understand the Alchemerian language?
It's the Old Fae language. Anyways, if hypothetically you are correct, I think you're reading too much into it. Yeah.
Probably.
I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I mean, we know that there's a ton of languages in the Fae, and we know that.
Well, we didn't know that until recently.
I thought we did know that. Because different worlds are different languages.
But they're not all Fae.
No, we heard it in the first book that Miss Girl was like confused why they spoke English.
They don't speak English. They're speaking
whatever,
Fae.
The book is in English. Whatever.
Anyways, we'll continue on that one.
Now going to read Michaela's unhinged theory number 2. Are we ready? She has kindly wrote it down for me. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. We have Joshin's warning. Okay, this one's a good one. This one's an okay one. You gave me a good one.
You didn't even read the rest of it.
It's a interesting thing. Okay. To kill a queen, you'll need to go to the darkest place, is exactly the words he said. And we've speculated before that the prophecies in this world are rarely straightforward. So who's the queen? Saeris, Madra, or someone else entirely? What? Obviously, he's not gonna kill Saeris. I should have finished reading it before I gave you. Like, what?
I'm just having fun now.
No more props for you.
Okay. Next on the theory roundtable.
It's obviously not Saeris. Like, why would he want to know how to kill his mate?
But I think Madra is too straightforward for it to be talking about Madra.
I don't think it's Madra.
Because Madra is the obvious answer.
Okay, well,
There's
not
no
Saeris.
riddle if it's
Let's
Madra.
just take Saeris out of there.
Okay, we'll
Saeris
take
is
Saeris
obviously
out.
not gonna die. We know she's not gonna die this book.
She probably won't die any of them. It's about her, and authors
Hopefully
don't like to do heartbreaking stories, although I wish they would.
You're a monster. You're the same as Joshin.
I'm a Scorpion?
Maybe.
I am
You're
a
the queen.
Scorpio.
Gotta watch out for you. I'm gonna put you in a box. Anyways.
I mean, I am in a box. I'm in a square box. My video. You're looking at me in a square box right now.
You are so millennial. I just want to let you know that. You are. Anyways, back to the Gen Z words. Not Saeris. The queen is not Saeris. I think I am hypothesizing that it's Madra. If it's not, then I'm wrong. But I just know for a fact it's not Saeris. I could just say that. I know it's not Saeris.
I don't think it's Saeris either. But I think Madra is too obvious of a choice, so I don't think it's Madra either. But that I don't know who it would be if it's not Madra.
Ooh, King of Uncertainty. What was the one? The king. What's his name?
Helicon?
No, the other king. The king in the sky.
King in the sky?
The king in the sky. You know the king in the sky with the daughters. Girl.
Zareth? I don't think he's a king. He's just a god.
Okay, you're right. I was thinking like maybe his wife is bad. Does he have a wife?
Does he even have a wife?
He has daughters somehow.
Magical. Anyways, we'll move on to the next one. We'll plate that for another end of video discussion.
We're gonna put a pin in it.
Yep. Boop. Okay. Next up on the theory roundtable we have, let's talk about Foley, okay? Because we questioned earlier in the podcast whether Tal was holding things back when it came to Foley. And now we know. He knew Foley was there the entire time. He allowed him exist in Almontraeth and never told anyone.
We're right now questioning whether Tal is playing the long game with, what's her name? Zilvarin? What's her name? There's so many Z's. Zavenya! There's so many Z's in this stupid thing. Okay. So now we're questioning if he's playing the long game with this girl, or is he just being a nice little protector for everybody? He's just laying low. Yeah, no, it doesn't give Fae vampire energy. I feel like he's definitely doing something sketchy.
Yeah, it makes me question if he stayed with Malcolm purely for love for Zavenya, or if it was strategic survival. I think it was strategic, because honestly, kneeling at Sanithroth's throne on your wedding night is not about romance, okay? Desperation.
Yeah, and why
ambition.
And why does, like, it makes me question things more with Kingfisher too, because Kingfisher's like trusted this guy, like really trusting Tal. But like, how?
Does
how
he
do you
not
have
know
respect for him after what he did to your sister?
Right, because he does know. He's the one that told Saeris about it. So why does he trust? Makes me think that there's something he knows that he's not telling us.
Who, Fisher or Tal?
Fisher.
You think Tal has something over Fisher? Maybe?
I don't know. His trust and love, quote unquote, for Taladeus doesn't scream like tension to me, which is what I feel like it would be if he was like blackmailing him.
True.
So I'm not sure that I would say that he has something over him. But
it
maybe they have a
just
shared
gives,
secret.
Like, blind trust to me is what it's giving. And same thing with Laura. Don't they have like cutesy little nicknames for each other? Like, what's going on?
Laura and Tal.
What's going on?
What is going on with everybody? Are we just choosing to like see the bad in everybody?
No, I mean,
are we
like,
the problem?
That's no, okay, never. But
are we toxic?
No, because like, why did he leave her on her wedding night? Like, if that doesn't give like a terrible human being, I don't know what does. Because like Kingfisher would never. You know what I mean?
I mean, Kingfisher might. He still is pretending he doesn't know his real name.
Well, he's not. He just doesn't want to get married, and that's respectable for him to say instead of leaving her on her wedding night.
I feel like the respectable thing to do would be like, yo, listen, like, love you, but I don't want to get married respectfully. So I'll tell you my name, but I don't want to get married.
He doesn't want to tell her his name. That's the whole
point. And
he
also doesn't. I know, but he also, the respectable thing would be to just
marry
flat out. Okay, then he should just tell her that.
Anyways. He literally did. What do you mean?
No, he told her that he doesn't know his name.
That's what I said. He said, I would love to marry you, but a tradition is that I have to say my name and I don't know it.
But he does know it, so it's a lie.
Right, but we don't know for sure if he knows it. We're
I think he
speculating that
does.
he knows it.
Okay. I'll add that to the
Maybe
theory
the author
roundtable for
made
the
a
next
mistake.
time.
Maybe she made a mistake on the bonus
I don't
chapters.
think so.
Okay, whatever. Whatever, I guess we'll find out.
All right,
Anyways.
last theory on the theory roundtable, which I've already mentioned, is Onyx the Fox. He appeared in Fisher's dreams for weeks, appeared in his shared dreams. He's crossing mountains that shouldn't be survivable. I have said before that I thought he teleported, but I don't think that's true. And I don't know, he just feels like more than an animal, and I am sticking to that. I'm doubling down on it. It is a theory. It's happening. Done. Put a pin in that.
Okay, hold on. I have a follow-up theory. Okay, we'll see who's right. I do not believe the fox is magical, right? But as of today's date, we do not know what Saeris' powers are. What if Saeris gave him a little bit of her powers somehow, some way, right?
Yeah, but he started doing some of this before she was even a vampire.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He crossed the mountain after she was, like, already a vampire.
I guess. So you think that she gave him powers?
I think she
across
has
the land?
power. I don't know what her power is, but it's possible
Is she a
that
warg?
could be. What did you just say to me?
A warg. Is she a warg living through her animal?
No, I'm just saying maybe, like, the things that she loves or the people that she loves, she has the ability to, like, you know what I mean? Without knowing it right now, obviously, because she doesn't know her power. So that's my theory. I feel like it's
That's your
less
take on
unhinged than
the
yours.
Onyx theory?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I'll accept it.
they're like the fox and her are like bond. They're soulmates, maybe like animal and human or animal and fae, whatever.
Do you think they like
could be.
share abilities?
They
Is
could
that
be
what you mean?
bonded in some way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. If I could bond to Armani, I would. Yeah, I love
Is
him.
that right?
Yeah, if I could share my magical powers with him, I would.
Because you have magical powers?
If I had magical powers, I would share it with my boy.
Okay.
My son. Yes.
I don't think I'd share mine with my cats.
You're a terrible person.
I'm just kidding. I would. I have too many
You're
to
lying.
split my magic between.
If I had to sum up chapters 17 through 20 and one thought, I would say, I'll give a couple words.
Yeah.
Lots of questions. Deranged theories. Mm-hmm. Where is Hayden? And the fox is not magical. Okay.
What about Elroy?
Hayden. I don't know. I mean, yes, we need Elroy, but I don't think he's gonna come in this book. I think it'll be the next. I think
The next one. Okay.
That's my opinion. But I think Elroy knows more about the alchemisty stuff than they think. I think he knows. So I think he would be a good resource.
I know we're supposed to be wrapping up. How funny would it be if they brought Elroy back immediately instead of Hayden right away?
You think?
I think it would be kind of funny because they haven't really mentioned Elroy that many times so far in this book. And so it would kind of put like a little twist on, oh, they're going to rescue Hayden. Just kidding. We're going to go get Elroy first and then make Hayden wait until book 3 because what does he have to add to the story right now? Nothing. Like, unless he's the one that magically is like, oh yeah, Elroy knows stuff about alchemists. Yeah. Why didn't you get him?
I don't know. I feel like it
other than maybe your theory with the Everlane thing.
What? What was my theory with the Everlane?
Because you said that Hayden was gonna like be the key to waking up Everlane or something.
Oh yeah, that was one of the only deranged theories that I had. It's possible.
Anyways, back to it. The demon trap, it wasn't just a fight scene. It exposed ancient magic that's deteriorating. That's a hard word. Foley wasn't just a character reveal. He exposed cracks in the court's authority. And the shared dream wasn't just romantic. It confirmed that Saeris and Fisher are connected in ways that we still do not understand and probably won't for a long time.
Yeah, very interesting. Very weird. That threw me off guard. But both of them are stepping into power, and neither of them fully understand the systems that they're standing on. Kingfisher is bargaining with demons. Saeris is overriding traditions in a court that barely accepts her. Most of them don't, actually. And every move they make feels like it fixes one problem and then something else comes up. So, one after another.
And I don't know about you, but I am ready to see what happens in this rest of this book because I don't know. I need to know.
Yeah, hopefully we're reading more chapters next time because I am trying to read it up as quickly as possible. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending the day with us here on Book Tea Talk. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the next one when we dive into chapters 21 through 27, like 80th pages. You got it. We got it. Kayla, you got it. We all got it. We all got it. Okay. We will be there next week.
Well, I was going to say, don't say next week because
we're going to try to be there next week.
Yes. I'm doing my best to edit the videos and get them out. But, personal lives, I have 2 jobs. You're going to school and have a full-time job. So sometimes it can be a little difficult. So we do the best we can. And we'll just have it out whenever we get it out. But as always, please keep spoilers past what we covered today out of the comments because we want to be surprised. We want everyone else to be surprised. And we want everyone to experience the chaos with us and not ahead of us.
But you can follow us at BookTeaTalk across all platforms for updates, bonus clips, and more bookish fun. And the games that Michaela has not let me play in 2 days. Very upsetting. But they're on there. The past ones are on there if you want to take a look on TikTok.
Yep. All right, bye, guys.
All right, guys.
Catch
bye.
you in the next one.
See ya.